Hello and welcome back to another casual video on this channel where we are very much nerds about old clothes. And the question then arises for those of us who like to incorporate elements of historical dress into our everyday wardrobes, what do we do about summer? What do we do about heat? Because it wasn't exactly a thing where you could just go out in short shorts and a tank top and just be an acceptable member of social society back in the historical period. So how do we still maintain that historical aesthetic without roasting to death? And it's also not to say that people historically all were just perpetually roasting, because there are a lot of really great tricks that people used to use historically in order to stay cool in the summer while also, remaining relatively covered and acceptable to the social standards of their period. Before we jump right into the fascinating facts for this video, we first have to thank today's sponsor for today, Home Design Makeover, which is a fabulously relaxing mobile game. I personally have spent the better part of this year moving in various capacities. So when Home Design Makeover reached out to me and was like, hey, you want to play a game that is just you sitting and relaxing and decorating beautiful spaces, I was like, hell yes, give this to me. Basically, you have clients who have hired you to decorate their interior spaces. You're given a blueprint and you get to replicate that. You follow the story of Julia and Troy, who are a team of interior designers whose characters develop as you progress through the game. I'm currently on level 23 and I have been finding it super relaxing and definitely fulfilling to watch the clients' dream blueprints become a reality. I love that you're allowed free rein to choose beautiful little furnitures and to make exquisite design choices in whatever way suits your personal expression best. You can earn coins by playing this matching puzzle game. I found this super enjoyable. Join me in Home Design Makeover by clicking the link in my description or by scanning the QR code, which is right on screen, tumbling around probably right now. Thanks, Danny. So I have a couple of outfits that I really want to take you through. This is not like my entire summer wardrobe or anything, but they just highlight some really great points that historical fashion really drew from. With the outfits that I'm going to showcase in this video, the point is not to get you to buy stuff. The point is to inform and to give you inspiration if there's any styles here that you feel resonate, but I'm going to be primarily giving you terminology to search for, preferably in thrift shops, as well as practical information on the function and the construction of clothes that really help it to withstand hot temperatures. So I will give you a guide as to generally how I acquired this garment, whether I made it myself, whether I thrifted it. If it's fast fashion, because some of these garments are, I will disclose that because it is important. A lot of my fast fashion is 10, 15 years old, and I still have it and I still wear it because that was the time when I wasn't aware of these issues. So let's get started. So the first outfit on my list, and this is probably my favorite summer outfit that I wear the majority of the time, let's just call it Piratecore. This, of course, starts with a nice, puffy, white, you can call it a pirate shirt. I know I have in the past called it a pirate shirt, but this style of shirt was very commonly worn. It's an 18th or 19th or Regency or 17th century shirt, but like if you use the terms pirate shirt or poet shirt, you're probably gonna get more accurate results. This shirt is handmade by me, by yours truly, out of some linen fabric. These can be made of bed sheets, they can be made of linen curtains. You can kind of make them out of anything. It is so easy to make. It's literally just squares and rectangles. You can hand make them, you don't even need a sewing machine. But the thing about these shirts historically is that they were made from linen, and linen is going to be an absolute staple fiber. Fiber content is something that you're really gonna have to think about when you're trying to get into heat appropriate clothing, because fiber content has the biggest impact on how a fabric is going to behave in temperature. So linen should be at the top of your list for summer if you want to go for a more historical vibe. Linen and cotton to an extent, but linen more especially, these cellulose fibers, they're made from plant materials, so flax and cotton. It is literally within their nature to absorb water because that is what a plant does. So that means it's really going to absorb sweat. It's going to make sure that you're staying nice and clean and dry and not like sitting in a pool of sweat all the time. And that's why linen was the fabric used as undergarments. It was the fabric worn against the skin, and linens are really durable. They can withstand lots of rigorous washing, which is what was needed. So 10 out of 10 with linen, especially white linen. It's going to reflect the light and keep you nice and cool. The next item that I'm wearing is this petticoat style skirt. It is made of a cotton gauze fabric. Once again, it's a cotton, so it's a natural fiber, which means it's going to be very breathable, it's going to be very cool. This skirt was originally fast fashion. Again, I've owned this for probably over 12 years now. We've all made a fast fashion purchase, whether we were knowledgeable about the detrimental ills of fast fashion or whether we were previously living in ignorance, as I was myself 10 years ago. The important thing is that you wear them and you take care of them and you love them, not just dump them in a landfill. So this skirt has got a lot of wear out of me. If you're looking for a skirt like this, I would definitely be searching for tiered skirts or a tiered ruffle skirt. They might call them maxi skirts nowadays. I'm calling it a petticoat style skirt because this is very much made in the style of a 19th century petticoat. They're also quite easy to make. You can make these out of bed sheets. You can make these out of sheer, nice old curtains if you have some. It's long, but it's loose, and that's gonna be another theme with hot weather clothing, is that loose is key. This is great if you are not really one to show your legs, if you're like me and you shave your legs maybe once a year, and this does not happen to be within that month that you have decided to do your annual leg shave. Like, yeah, sometimes you just don't want to deal with society, and so you have to wear a long skirt. I have here just layered an extra petticoat underneath it. It's just a cotton muslin. You don't have to do this. Another petticoat will just give you extra fluff and extra volume, but you know, it is another layer, so do with that as you will. The shoes are from American Duchess. I love me some flats. They're reproduction Regency style boots. I love these so much because they're kind of gothy, but also they're very comfy. The belt is a leather ring belt, which I bought at a Renaissance fair about 7 or 8 years ago. These ring belts are super Piratecore. They're super historical and old-fashioned in general. You can thread pouches onto these belts, a little pair of scissors, whatever you feel like putting there. It's very old-fashioned. It's very whimsical too. Like, you have a perfectly modern outfit and you put a ring belt with it, like, whoa, you just came back from like the 18th century or something. I will not lie, I love getting, especially accessories from Renaissance fairs, from traditional craftsmen, like wherever I possibly can. There are lots of great ones on Etsy even. Belts, hair accessories. They're fantastic leather workers all over Renaissance fairs. I found like great iron workers who can make belt buckles. And again, like reenactors make such great handmade, traditionally crafted items, and it's great to support them. Like, these are actual individual humans, small artisans, small business owners who are perpetuating and keeping alive these old crafts. These people are like the real deal. So definitely 10 out of 10 recommend checking those guys out. So the next little summer outfit we have is an adaptation of the chemise à la Reine, which was a huge fashion trend amongst the ladies of a certain class of nobility in the late 18th century, turn of the 19th century. I have a whole video on the making of this dress. It's entirely handmade once again, so you don't need a sewing machine to make this. You know, it's all just made out of densely gathered, very, very lightweight, sheer even cotton voile. So this is a very, very lightweight dress. We're continuing to learn more about the history of this. There was mention of this dress having originated with Creole women in the Caribbean. And then, of course, you know, co-opted by Marie Antoinette and all the ladies of European fashion. But fundamentally, dresses like this super lightweight cotton, very densely gathered and flowy dress was originally supposedly to have been worn in very hot tropical climates. I have adapted the sleeve to make them little floaty cap sleeves as opposed to the big voluminous long sleeves that were popular on the 18th century European version. You know, it just modernized it a little bit and made it more summer appropriate. So this is a great dress. It's super easy to wear. It's all just drawstrings. There's no closures. It's totally adjustable. So like, depending on how you're feeling during the day, you can adjust according to size. It's really great. You can put any variation of colored sash with it to give it a little pop of color if you so choose. I made a little red one. I would say the only downside about a dress like this is if you have any degree of asymmetry, it will show. I have quite a bit of asymmetry in my skeletal frame, and so you can absolutely see in the horizontal lines across the upper body, that's definitely something that becomes very apparent, especially if you put a very bold colored sash with it, which I have, you know, for illustration purposes here. But, you know, my asymmetry is part of me, so like, you know, I don't really care ultimately, but some people might, you know. If you have particular insecurities about that, that just might be something to consider. The shoes for this, these are ghillie style shoes. They're very much ghillie style. They're not actual ghillies, obviously, because they look nothing like them. But, you know, they've got the cross lacing and the lacing all the way up the ankle, which is really nice. You might actually get some results if you search ghillie style shoes, pointed toe ghillie style shoes. These were originally purchased about 10 years ago as mass market shoes, so, you know, I wouldn't endorse the brand, but you can probably find something, I'm sure, very similar elsewhere. These are made from genuine leather, so they have held up over the last 10 years, and, you know, I know they look a bit worn, but I have worn these to absolute death. These are like my go-to summer shoe. I wear them pretty much every day. They've held up really well. We know that consumption of leather and animal products in general is not ideal. However, where current technology is at present, the natural plant-based pineapple leathers really are not at a place where they are commercially viable yet, but also they're not as durable as genuine leather. Like a plant-based leather might last you 1 or 2 years, you might not be able to wear it, you know, in all sorts of weathers, and if you are, it may have been treated with chemicals that are extremely detrimental to the environment. There's, you know, of course, all the fake leathers, all the quote-unquote vegan leathers, which are petroleum-based products, which are absolutely detrimental to the environment, absolutely are unsustainable materials, and they only last a couple of years. You know, I have worn vegan leather products and they just fall apart. And then what do? They're not usable and they're not fixable. And so you throw them into landfill and then we have all this petroleum in the landfill. So like, what's the ethically better option? Personally, I prefer to get a genuine leather product that I know is going to last you a lifetime. And you know, you're not buying new shoes every season or whatever. So I know there's debates about that, but you know, that's personally my ethical stance on that. So the next outfit that we have, I'm gonna call her Cottagecore Adventurer. So as a base layer, once again, we have the pirate shirt. We love repeating outfit pieces. You know, again, having a base linen layer is a really fantastic asset to a summer outfit because this will help to protect your outer layers from getting sweat damage, from having to do as much laundry, and also to help keep you nice and cool. So I have, once again, white linen 18th century shirt. Underneath, a embroidered linen wrap dress, which is from Vorjag? Please don't sue me. They're a really great, small, sustainable, independent, small business, small production, independently made, sustainable, you know, all that fun stuff. Obviously, first and foremost, I do not endorse buying things just to buy things, like just trying to avoid unnecessary purchases wherever possible. So this is a dress that when I saw it, I absolutely loved it. I'd been looking for a pinafore style dress to layer over my pirate shirts. And so, you know, it was something that I was actively looking for in my wardrobe, and I found one that I really liked from a brand that I really want to support, and so I bought it. Once again, this dress is made from linen, so it's super lightweight, it's very breathable, it's very summer friendly, very heat friendly. But if you're looking for a dress kind of similarly to this, wrap dress, pinafore dress for that layered look, having these, you know, the little strap dress over, you know, like an undershirt or a pirate shirt like this, you'd call that historically a pinafore. The socks you can ignore. In fact, the socks you probably should ignore. They're not technically part of the outfit, but again, like, I hadn't done my annual leg shave when this, and like, I don't trust the internet with my historically accurate unshaven legs. Anyway, the socks are there for those of you with delicate constitutions and can't handle like body hair on women. The boots are from Joe Bear Boots. I think they're primarily on Etsy. These are literally the best quality boots I have ever owned. Once again, small brands, small batches of like really amazing, extremely skilled shoemakers. A lot of the shoes that Joe Bear do are based off of historical styles. So this is based off of a Victorian work boot, which of course goes absolutely perfectly with my Victorian core Edwardian aesthetic. They're really, really durable. For the working Edwardian, you know, ya girl, they fit me absolutely perfectly. Again, it's made from natural leather, so these boots, I've had them for a couple of years now. I wear them absolutely everywhere, all day, every day, all seasons, put them through all sorts of destruction, and these boots look brand new. This is the kind of boot that I will literally have until the day I die, and then someone else will take them after I die. These boots will survive a nuclear apocalypse. Like, I'm 1000% sure. They hand make their shoes, so like, I don't know what you expect. Like, they're not mass manufactured. This is the kind of shoe that like absolutely I can get behind. The bag. Oh, the bag. Only if you are absolutely in need of a satchel. This is the collaboration that I did with Bera, who do fantastic, once again, small brand, small batch, handmade by like incredible leather artisans down in Bolivia. It's all made from, you know, as much as possible sustainable materials. And so I was super excited to get to collaborate with them. So it has a little lock on the front of it and comes with a key, so you can actually lock and unlock the bag. Like, it actually locks. So yeah, I take this with me absolutely everywhere. We made it kind of like inspired by Gothic architecture because I am complete trash for Gothic architecture. Like, if you put a Gothic window in a building, like, I'm not gonna leave. I love like weird, unique details that like make things interesting. Like, I don't know, clothing can be art. In fact, clothing should be art. So the last outfit that I have to discuss today is this chemise style dress. This, literally, when I saw this, I was like, this is a replication of an 1860s chemise. Like, for so many reasons I will use this, like whether it's for education, for like reenactment, for like costume purposes, or more especially for everyday purposes. Once again, from Voyage, I have worn this as a night dress, I have worn this as a day dress, I have worn this as a chemise. It is so versatile and has so many benefits specifically to summer wear. First of all, that it's made from a very lightweight cotton, which once again, we really want to be focusing on the natural fibers and especially the plant-based fibers. The thing about synthetics, though they may be cheap, most synthetics are petroleum-based products. Essentially, they're plastic. So if you think about, you know, wearing plastic out into the heat, it's not breathable. You're gonna sweat to death, and it's just not gonna be comfortable. Every fabric has different qualities that have different features. Some fabrics are really great at wicking moisture, some are really great at trapping moisture, some are really great at breathability, and some are really great at insulation. So like silk, for example, although it's a natural fiber, it is a very insulating natural fiber. It traps heat like nobody's business, and you absolutely don't want to be wearing silk in the summer. The other thing that's really great about this dress is it's so loose. It's literally just a 10. I mean, like, if you wanted to, you could put a cute little belt with it and like dress it up and be nice. But like, I love wearing this loose because it's so just breezy and it's so light, and loose clothing is absolutely your friend in the heat. Give yourself that air circulation against your skin instead of trapping your skin under a layer of fabric that, you know, is not going to allow for that air circulation. The shoes, once again, are American Duchess. These are the Gibson style shoes. I've had these, again, for probably about 7 years now. I love these shoes so much. It's a reproduction of an existing Edwardian shoe style. I very distinctly remember in like 2010, an image of a shoe from the Edwardian period that looked exactly like this. I loved this shoe so much and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I said, one day I'm gonna find this shoe. And I did, I found it, American Duchess made it. So, you know, really, really special shoe purchase acquisition. Again, you know, like, I'm not here to encourage frivolous purchases. Like, purchase things that mean something to you, that serve a purpose in your life, that you know you're going to use and love for a while. I also, real quick, just need to shout out my amazing, lovely, delightful work-study student, T, who consistently is showing up to work in the most amazing outfits. And if you're looking for historically inspired inspiration, definitely look towards historical undergarments. Edwardian combinations make the cutest little summer rompers. Please don't try and buy the originals and wear them. That's, you know, we like to try and conserve those as much as possible. But this fabric, she's actually designed herself based on an original, I think she said 18th century design. She's printed it on a cotton that she then made up into a petticoat, which is just like the most amazing, extraordinarily creative idea. So here's just another little bit of inspiration if this suits your fancy. So what have we learned today about wearing historical clothes in heat? Under the yes category, fiber content should be cotton or linen as much as possible, and very lightweight weaves. Light colored plant fibers, cellulose fibers, are going to be your absolute best friend. And you're gonna want loose cuts that sit away from the body. Things to avoid are tight fits. We want to avoid heat trapping and non-breathable fiber content like petroleum-based synthetics, like silk. The other trick that historical people regularly practiced that we have largely lost sight of today is layering. And I know this sounds absolutely insane, and sure enough, you look back at pictures of historical people and they're like completely dressed in long sleeves and, you know, long skirts and big coats and hats, and you're like, oh my God, they must have roasted to death. But layering can actually be a really strategic move in hot weather. First of all, because, you know, if you're wearing long sleeves, and I know a lot of Middle Eastern cultures, they still do this and historically did this, they're often seen in long sleeves in garments that completely envelop the body, which is essential because that keeps the sun off your body, you know? So covering up the body is not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to make sure that you're doing so in a way that isn't restricting airflow, that is still allowing your skin to breathe and allowing moisture to escape, so you're not just like broiling in your own clothes. But the thing about layering is that historically, people were always wearing a layer underneath their clothing. It was the shirt for men, it was the smock or the shift or the chemise for women. Pre-19th century, they were traditionally made from linen, and so that means that you have this extremely breathable and extremely absorbent layer of fabric right up next to your skin that you could be taking off and changing out daily, if not multiple times daily. But it also means that this is the layer that's absorbing all the sweat. Like, therefore, it's protecting the rest of your clothing from coming into contact with your skin. That means you only have one layer of laundry to do instead of having to launder all of your clothing. Anyway, there is so much more ranting that I could probably do about fashion and styling and fast fashion and sustainability. But anyway, I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own style. And if you are in the market to buy things, I hope you proceed mindfully. I hope you do tons of research and be absolutely sure that you will love and will care for your new garment friends. Thank you so much once again to Home Design Makeover for sponsoring this video and for allowing me to rant at you for insert timestamp of how long this video ended up to be. I want you to know that the voiceover for this video is 1 hour and 7 minutes. So this probably won't end up that long, but your girl has been ranting. So thank you, Home Design Makeover. If you would like to go download, the link for that is in the description. And I shall see you very soon with more historical costuming and historical dress adventures, as well as perhaps some more fashion rants, apparently.